Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to another little 80s retro review here for a film which came to me as a recommendation from one of the cast members, Diane Franklin, who had recommended this along with The Last American Virgin and Terror Vision via some Instagram comments we had going back and forth a little while back, of which The Last American Virgin is currently my highest viewed video. It's doing really well, having beat out Dracula Has Risen from the Grave, which was posted about a year and a half earlier, so it's already gone well past it. But for this one, she had recommended Amityville 2, The Possession. But what is this entry in the franchise about? Because this is a very long franchise. There are some films that are connected directly to the main through line of the story, and some which just use the name Amityville to put whatever kind of story they want together. Anyways, this one, the synopsis is as follows. A dysfunctional family moves into a new house, which proves to be satanic, resulting in the demonic possession of their teenage son. Now, I had revisited the original Amityville horror last summer and had put up a video on it, which I will link to at the end of this one if you haven't seen that. I really enjoyed it. I felt that Brolin and Kidder had some great chemistry. They did a great job with it, and I was glad that I kind of had a chance to sit down and rewatch it after it being so many years I didn't remember it at all. And actually, the only memories I had from Amityville was from the remake from about 15 or 20 years ago with Ryan Reynolds, I believe. And I do plan on revisiting that one day to see how that one kind of holds up as far as remakes go. But this one was new to me. And actually ended up watching it in an old format. As the title of the video shows, yes, I watched it on VHS. Now, this wasn't some sort of weird, I only watch it in the original format that I saw it as a child kind of thing. I actually just happened to come across this double feature at a horror convention not too long ago that has the first Amityville horror and Amityville 2, The Possession. So I figured I have an old VCR, I have a little old 13-inch CRT TV, so I'll get some snacks and some blankets out and sit down on the ground like a child in the 80s, in the old days. I felt like I was homesick from school or something, kind of hunkering down to check this one out all in the dark. And watching it on VHS definitely felt a bit more confining, it not being widescreen, having everything kind of chopped with that pan and scan look. And it was also, of course, on a much smaller screen, and it wasn't as vibrant colors, and it was very low resolution. And with the audio, everything kind of felt very small and in this tiny little corner where the TV was. Now, this actually added to the film in a couple ways because, we kind of get this extra sense of that claustrophobic feel in this spooky film by having everything kind of in this dark little corner. But as for the film itself, and I know it took me a while to finally get here, I was pleasantly surprised with this one. There's a lot going on here which feels much darker than the first one. The family dealing with this situation and them all slowly becoming affected and infected in some way by this spirit. Everything in their family kind of falling apart. Quickly, things don't just go bad, but really weird as well. And, the family's kind of at each other's throats. Things are getting dark and sacrilegious with this weird kind of haunting and possession, seeing the son kind of come under power of this. And on top of all that, the performances for everybody are really top-notch in this, and they really bring it all home. Particularly Jack Magner and Diane Franklin, who play brother and sister, who have some, let's just say, sibling love going on, in a way which I don't want to go into too much detail because I'm not sure how YouTube will handle that, to be mentioning certain acts that brothers and sisters shouldn't really be doing, but it's very dark, very creepy, and it fills Franklin's character with this immense sense of guilt and confusion and everything. And Burt Young of Rocky fame, he just comes across, strong and supportive at the best of times, but at the hands of this house or this spirit, he becomes not just domineering on top of all that, but then very violent and terrifying. Perhaps, there's maybe something too much in like his shouting and angry outbursts that reminded me of some situations from my youth. I don't know, but it really stuck out, and probably one of the things that I remember the most was his performance. And I think that because the older siblings and what they are kind of dealing with as well is a bit more to kind of, like with all of that, they still kind of wrap things up. We get to an act where there's some violence, we get some killings, we get the aftermath of this, and this is where the film kind of goes further. We have this big buildup, we have this big violent act, but then we have a lot more time after that, We kind of later see that leading even into like an open ending for another character. So then we kind of explore that a little bit, and they really do a good job of like borderline surpassing the original in the way that this one's kind of paced out. We get the slowly creeping effect, and then it builds out, violent act, but then it doesn't end there. We get a little bit more. Now, I won't say that there's enough reason with the way that I watched it, with the whole claustrophobic feel, to watch this one on VHS. I thought it was interesting to check it out that way, but I even already have scooped up a used DVD so I can rewatch it in a much better format. Considering how well it amplifies some of the aspects visited in the original, I would say that if you enjoy the original or never checked out any of the sequels or spin-offs or parodies, of which there are many for various reasons that are very interesting to read into, I would say if you enjoyed the first one at all, or had seen the remake and enjoyed it and weren't sure about all these sequels, this is definitely one that's worth sitting down for, as it adds this extra level to everything and is more than worth checking out. And speaking of checking out, thanks for checking out this quick little video here for Amityville 2, The Possession, which was recommended to me by Diane Franklin. And as mentioned, it is available on disc and paid rental, and I believe currently Starz has this one showing. So if it sounds interesting, head over to one of those and check it out, or maybe find an old VHS if you really want to see what that's like. Though I don't really recommend it. That's why I bought this DVD to replace it. But anyways, that's about all I have for this one. Thanks for coming by and for sticking around to the end. And I have a few links coming up, so if you want to check those out, and if you're not already subscribed, check out my back catalog and consider subscribing and hitting that little bell icon to get notifications for when I put up new videos, which are usually 1 to 3 times a week. Anyways, that's all I got. Thanks again for coming by, and I will see you in the next one.